If I had to start learning about birding from scratch, knowing what I know now after birding for 10 years, I wouldn't start by chasing extremely rare birds or getting a bunch of expensive gear. I would start with these 5 things, and if you do, it'll make your birding way more fun, faster. Now, my recommendations for beginner birders is to use kind of the gear you either have around your house or that your friends have, or start with something a little more budget friendly. See if you like the hobby first before you invest in more gear. But this video is not really going to talk about that aspect of it. It's just going to talk about some easy things you can do to make yourself a better birder faster and enjoy it more. So with that in mind, let's get into our first action. We have number 1, download and get familiar with eBird. Historically, a lot of birding has been done on paper. So you take a journal out, a notebook, you write down the birds you saw, write down characteristics of the bird you saw, maybe even sketch it and kind of figure out what it was later. All your records would be on paper. Now we have eBird, which is kind of the one-stop place to keep all your sightings in one location. You can look up where birds have been seen. It'll keep a list of birds you've seen and where you've seen them. So you can look at a map of the US, see the different states you've seen birds in. You can split it up by county. You can search for rare birds. There's a ton of stuff you can do with eBird. So once you learn it and you're familiar with it, it is a total game changer. It can also tell you what rare birds have been reported. You can see what other people are seeing, and you can even take quizzes. So you can put in a specific region. You can say, I want to learn the birds from this area by call. So it'll give you calls. You can listen to it. It'll give you options. You can try to pick which one you think it is, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. You can do the same thing with photos. So knowing eBird and being familiar with it is a huge game changer. It has different applications on the mobile app versus desktop version, and we have tutorials on both of them that I'll put in the description and a bunch of eBird tips that you can check out. But learning eBird will be incredibly helpful for you. Action number 2. Learn common birds first. When my brother Ryan and I started birding, it was actually because we watched a movie called The Big Year with Jack Black, Owen Wilson, and Steve Martin, and we said, that looks really fun, we should give that a shot. And we were actually kind of mind blown by the common birds around us that we had never noticed before. And so start local, start with what's in your backyard, learn those birds first, and then kind of expand your search out. Doesn't mean you can't search for rare birds or anything like that, but you might be surprised with what's new just in your area. So I think that's a little easier and less overwhelming to just learn the birds in your backyard, in your neighborhood, places you take a walk. So keep your circle small and then kind of expand out. That's how I would do it. You don't want to go to another area, just get super overwhelmed and just kind of be like, this is too much to tackle. So you really can do whatever you want with it, but I think starting in your backyard is the best. Action number 3. Use Merlin responsibly. Merlin is an awesome app that you can download. There's different like regional packs for it for where you're at. Then you push a button and it will try to identify birds by vocalization. So it'll say, okay, I'm hearing a blue jay, I'm hearing a crow, I'm hearing a red-bellied woodpecker. Now the problem with it is people just treat it like it's always correct, and they'll just say like, oh, I heard all these birds, but they're not really putting it together. Like they're not actually hearing it. The app is just kind of doing the work and they're just saying they heard or saw all those. So don't use it as a crutch so much where it's just doing all the work for you, and you're not actually learning anything out there in the field. So it's a great app to use. I like to see what it's hearing, and then you can say, oh, I haven't seen that one before. Let me track it down and get a visual on it, or let me listen for it and use it as a learning tool. So after you click the button to stop your recording, you can actually press the bird and it'll take you to where it's hearing that vocalization. It's also not always correct. So you can't rely on it being 100% accurate all the time. Species like northern mockingbirds that mimic other birds, it can actually fool Merlin. Same thing with blue jays. Sometimes they make red-tailed hawk vocalizations, and I've seen that fool Merlin too. So it's a great tool, love it for learning, but just use it responsibly. It's not 100% correct, and make sure you're not using it in place of actually learning bird vocalizations, which we'll get to in a little bit. Our next action, number 4. Get connected. Now, no matter where you are, there's probably a couple other people at least that are going birding, if not bigger organizations. Looking on eBird to see which people are getting out and reporting things is a great way to kind of learn who to maybe get connected with. Also, there's normally Audubon chapters or local bird clubs that you can go on a bird walk with them or go to an event that's being hosted. And the more you can meet and bird with other people, the more you're gonna learn. Act like a sponge, just soak up all the information. There's so many knowledgeable mentors out there and people that are willing to help you find the birds you're looking for. Of course, whenever you're networking with people that you're meeting, for the first time, you always wanna be responsible, so make sure that you're making these connections in a safe way and everything like that. But in general, the birders that I've met have always been super nice, really helpful, and they're willing to give information and help you find things that you wanna see. And finally, we have number 5. Learn songs and calls. So this kind of goes with our use Merlin. But learning the songs and calls of birds is super helpful when you're out there in the field. I remember when I started, I would hear all these noises and it would just be overwhelming. I didn't really know what I was hearing. I constantly thought I was missing something. I'd be like, there's got to be some bird in here that's super rare that I'm just not picking out the vocalization for. And part of it is the more you're out and the more you're learning, the more you're going to know those songs and calls. Sometimes it just takes hearing one over and over again and being like, what is that? And you track the bird down and you see it and you go, okay, I'm going to remember it. Maybe the same thing happens again. It's kind of trial and error with that. But you can use tools like the eBird quizzes. There's also some other apps. I know one is called Larkwire. I think that's a paid one. But it's a learning songs and calls app. We also have a bunch of videos about learning bird songs and calls, and you can use those to learn them as well. Some people like the mnemonic devices where you're saying this kind of sounds like this, like the black-capped chickadee. People say it sounds like cheeseburger or hey sweetie, and sometimes knowing those helps people too. So use Merlin as kind of a tool, but then also make sure you're learning the songs and calls. That is a huge difference between beginner and advanced birders, in my opinion, is that the advanced birders know the songs and calls so well. So now when I go out to a region that I'm familiar with, I'm not worried about missing all these different birds because I hear the vocalizations and I can go, okay, that's this, that's this, that's that. If there is something I don't know, then it makes me really excited because I'm like, that must be something that's you know, an obscure vocalization or a bird that I haven't seen in this area before. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. I've also been thinking about making a beginner birding course. So if that would be of interest to you, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know your favorite tip. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.